such a beautiful way to step into like, okay, I'm choosing myself right now, you know, like I'm doing this for myself, as much as uncomfortable it is and maybe woo-woo as it is, but this is the pathway to healing and to getting into that yummy, sexual, juicy relationship that you desire. So healing sexuality with plants. Yes. I am interested to learn more, and I'm sure my viewers are as well.
So in the world of plant healing, I work with a bunch of different plants, the like non-psychedelic ones, although those also have like huge value. I'm sure it's just not my area of expertise. So the first group of plants that I'll talk about are through essential oils, which is really my like first love in the natural healing world. It's really how I got into it. So there's a number of essential oils that are aphrodisiacs, which is kind of like a fun sexual buzzword that I'm sure we all have used, but maybe don't really know how to define it. So the way an aphrodisiac works in aromatherapy is that it works on your lower energy centers. So in the more like Eastern world, this is like the chakra system, where you have 2 energy centers below, one's just below the belly button and one sort of inside yourself.
This is the sacral chakra and your root chakra.
Exactly. Yeah.
I will put an image diagram here so we can see. Can I just cut in there? And for those listening who maybe don't know what the word aphrodisiac means, could I get you to expand on that a little bit, just in case?
Yes. So, in sort of like common terms, like an aphrodisiac is something that awakens your sexual senses. It like awakens your sensuality. It awakens your desire. The way we work with it through aromatherapy is that the aphrodisiac oils, they actually open up the lower chakras, which is where our whole sexual centers are connected to, and it's also very connected to motivation. So if you're like opening up those lower energy centers, it's also like it's your passion centers. So passion, of course, as we know, can be harnessed into sexuality so beautifully, but it can also be transformed and used to create like a beautiful business plan and beautiful art. So when we're working with aphrodisiac oils, it's really like stimulating our natural life force. And that's often what gets blocked when we're talking about like sexual blockages. It's this like passion and zest for life that we want to reignite.
Of course, and here at the School of Sensuality, I'm all like, as a pleasure coach myself and as a sexologist, I'm all about healing sexuality, reigniting your sexuality. I think, look, I have used yoni steaming. That is in another video, guys. I will link that. But coming back to the essential oils, so let's say we have someone someone who has gone through like, uncomfortable sexual experiences. They are a little intimidated to talk about sex, to open up the conversations around sex. Obviously, I have the ways that I teach and would bring forward. But what essential oils would you say to bring into the space to start really refining that balance within themselves? Maybe they don't have the confidence to reach out and to book in a call with me, or maybe they don't have the confidence to actually talk to their friend, but actually teaching and then just to go to the shop and get some essential oils that doesn't need that confidence is really doing that for themselves. So what essential oils could be beneficial for women to use in that way?
Really good question. The one that comes to mind for that specific use case is ylang ylang. It's spelled Y-L-A-N-G. It's a floral scent. And the reason why it's super accurate for this situation is because it has this aphrodisiac quality that's going to do all that work to like help open things up and revive things. It also has this unique quality of allowing trauma to come to the surface, but in a gentle way. So we're not going through this like deep, painful trauma exploration. It's coming up in a way that your body and your emotions can handle it and feels like really loving and warm. So you're able to go through these harder experiences from a really loving, safe place. So just a word of safe use practices. Keep in mind that essential oils are actually highly, highly concentrated and very strong, even though they're like such beautiful, simple things that everyone can use them. So I don't advise that we use them internally. That doesn't mean that you can't. Just make sure that you're well enough educated on the subject. So if this is your first time starting to play with them, like inner thighs will absolutely do the work for you.
Perfect. Noted. So let's say we're going to the shops, girls, we're going to get the ylang ylang. How do we actually use this, and what actually is like the process that you would use? When I work with my clients around this space in sexual trauma, I do a lot of stomach massage. So what would be the modality that you would suggest? Maybe it's the same, or maybe there is something different.
Amazing question. And like stomach massage also, like from this background, is like a perfect use case, because these lower chakras, right, are the second one is 2 inches below your belly button. So that's exactly where that energy will be centered. So with essential oils, you always want to be safe. So we don't use them directly on your skin, especially ylang ylang. Like it's very, very strong. It might make you a little sleepy in a nice, dreamy way. So you want to mix it with carrier oil, so almond oil, olive oil, coconut oil, whatever you got around. And if you're using it therapeutically, so I would say make that little blend and then use it 3 times a day, whatever time is convenient for you. And I usually recommend that people rub it around their inner thighs and just below the belly button. And you can pair it with a mantra, just like giving yourself an affirmation or a phrase that you're like repeating and creating that intentionality.
Of releasing the energy.
Yeah.
And I do have guided meditations on releasing any stored sexual energy or trauma.
Perfect.
So I'll link those in the comments below. And I do have more in the School of Sensuality, really guided meditations on this practice. You know, if you are getting your essential oils, ylang ylang, but bridging it with the guided meditation, that's actually going to support you through the process, rather than, because I completely understand, like, you know, say I've got the essential oils, but what do I do with it now? It's great to have like a guided practice of like, okay, we're just going to press play, we're just going to follow this practice. It's going to really, really help and release. And I do a lot of, I might add ylang ylang into my yoni massage and my room massage sessions, because I use rose hip oil. Okay. That's what I was taught with, and that's what I use. But it would be amazing to bring in another essential oil and another type of energy, essential oil. And something you did share on that, you have been talking, and this is for the listeners, you've been talking about our sacral and our root chakra. I'm just going to offer another angle to look at that. It's like basically your pelvic floor.
Right.
So for those watching, maybe don't really know what the root chakra is, the sacral chakra is, even though I will put the diagram here. It's all around, like, think of like your stomach, your ovaries, your yoni, your vaginal walls, your rectum, all around this area of your body where we can store a lot of trauma as women. That is definitely something that comes up in my school a lot and within my coaching. So many women have navigated sexual trauma and abuse and have just pushed it down, suppressed it down. And that actually comes out into a way of negative emotions in relationships. So I actually have a lot of clients that come to me like, Katie, I'm struggling to initiate sex. I don't feel good. I feel uncomfortable because an ex shamed me, because an ex did this to me, because when I was younger, this happened. And it can be very uncomfortable to actually admit that this has happened to you, because we generally come into a space of like, this is wrong and I'm embarrassed and I'm shameful for allowing this to happen. But when we were in those moments, we were just doing our best. We were doing exactly what we needed, what we could in those moments. And I know this, I've been through this myself. So if you are someone who is listening or watching this podcast who is thinking, okay, I've been through that as well, I do have a form on my website that you can fill in and I can support you on this process. Everything stays confidential, as well as getting your ylang ylang, give yourself a stomach massage. You can reach out, and as a sexologist, I help women navigating the sexual trauma and coming into our bodies and coming into our pelvic floor, moving somatically the energy to get through, because we can go to therapy and we can talk about it, but sometimes our mind can forget. but our body is the reason that we are struggling to initiate sex. Our body is the reason that we don't feel confident. Our body is the reason that we are struggling to kind of show up or even go out and date, because we're scared of, oh my God, if I'm going to date someone, that means afterwards I'm going to have sex with them, but I'm scared of having sex. And I bring that back to really come back to the body so we can actually feel in a space of, okay, how do I want to navigate the rest of my life? Do I want to keep holding on to these experiences that have maybe been negative and not serving me anymore? Or am I in a space ready to let that go? And you know, a lot of women can be in relationships or scared of relationships. And I'm obviously using the stomach massage here now. And this is something I still do. Everything I teach, I practice. I practice everything that I preach. Everything is in the side of School of Sensuality. And sometimes, you know, if I've got a busy week, maybe less, but like 2-3 times a week, I get my rosehip oil out, or my coconut oil, and I give myself a beautiful stomach massage. I listen to my own sensual guided, my playlist, and I just give myself a massage, because it's not only sexual trauma or sexual abuse or uncomfortable sexual experiences that we store, it's also emotions just from toxic relationships, or, you know, when we've been shouted at, or when we have had uncomfortable feelings come up into our body. We can store so much pain and anger within this area. And you like using the ylang ylang and the essential oils and the massage and really giving back to yourself is such a beautiful way to step into, like, okay, I'm choosing myself right now. You know, like, I'm doing this for myself, as much as uncomfortable it is and maybe woo-woo as it is, but this is the pathway to healing and to getting into that yummy, sexual, juicy relationship that you desire, because you have moved out and cleared out the energy that we don't need to come into a space of like, oh, wow, this is what pleasure feels like. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have started this journey earlier.
Right? On, yeah.
Coming into a space of like, okay, this is my body. This is what we want to be in. And whether it's working with a naturopath, whether it's working with a sexologist, bridging the gaps together, trying all the things that's going to support you on that process of really coming into a space of like, oh my God, this is me.
And there's an essential oil for that vibe too.
Oh, please tell me more.
For the like playful sexual aphrodisiac, the strongest aphrodisiac is called patchouli. It's sort of like nicknamed sex magic because it's one of the essential oils that was dated back to like when there were witch trials around, and when women were being accused, very sadly, of being witches, it was because they had this really powerful sexual prowess that at the time was feared. And often it was said that that came from like their use of patchouli as like the plant that they were using to create these sex magic spells over the people around them. So it's like a really playful one. It's a great like opener, and you can use it the same way like 3 times a day and just like bring out that fun sexual energy.
And I really like how, you know, you've brought out those holistic essential oils rather than, there is obviously cruelty-free, vegan, gluten, #healthy oils that we use, but generally in shops, it's just, I'm gonna watch my words. Generally, it's not really the healthiest things that we can use on our body or to feel, but essential oils are generally also natural and organic, and this is a better way from your body rather than putting like strawberry smelling lube or strawberry selling, you know?
Yeah.
Like on your body. It's not, don't get me wrong, I've been there, I've done it myself in my younger years because I didn't know any different, but now with the learnings and the lessons that I do in such a holistic space, the more that we can really give to ourselves with natural products. They don't always need to be woo-woo. I mean, essential oils, anyone can have essential oils, but more of the natural products, then you will notice like how your body is also feeling differently as well.
Yeah, definitely.
This was yummy. So what do we have? Ylang ylang and patchouli. 2 essential oils to get you sexy on, or to heal and to create space for that pleasure as well. So,
can I offer one more?
please do.
Okay. So besides essential oils, which there's, oh, thank you.
We want to make sure they can hear us listening.
Okay. Besides essential oils, there's also a group of plants called adaptogen plants. Have you heard of those? Maybe you've heard of like ashwagandha.
Yes, yeah.
So adaptogen plants are a group of plants that their job is to go all natural, go into your body and see what in your nervous system is out of balance and help bring it back into balance. So it's really great for these situations where you do have fears coming up connected to sexuality, or you do have traumatic experiences, or maybe you're someone who says, I just don't have such a high sex drive. Maybe that's true, but maybe it's the stress living in your system. So adaptogen plants help restore that balance, and each plant has their own star quality, and there's one whose star quality is connected to sexuality, which is maca. Have you heard of maca?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maca is an amazing plant. It is a root, so it actually tastes good, which is pretty rare for plants. And it will do that nervous system healing for you. It's energizing, which is also super important, and it also helps activate our sexual desires and like heal the parts of our nervous system that are connected to sexuality. Also very important for women that are going through menopause, because there we see like a huge drop in sex drive, and maca helps balance that back and bring that back, which is like so important to women's relationships and their connection to themselves. So it's really like just a huge gift to everyone.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, like obviously I knew the rose hip oil, but I've also learned something for myself today, and I hope you guys have as well, and just little things. And I kind of want to add in here, it's not just, okay, we're going to go to the shop, buy the essential oils, put them on ourselves, and bingo, we're back to, we're fresh again. It's going to help, but we really need to give back to your body. You really need to connect to yourself and commit to this process of healing. It's not just like, okay, we're just going to sprinkle some fairy dust on and just magically, don't get me wrong, I do love my fairy dust, but you know, it really, we also have to do the inner work, and we also really have to commit to the process and help ourselves within that. But all these of what we've just shared, the essential oils, the it's not matcha, it's maca.
Maca, M-A-C-A.
M-A-C-A, the maca. I'll put the links in below. And use the practices, you know, we're connecting to your body, releasing, letting go of that resentment is also going to help as well. Not just, not just sprinkling ourselves, and we need to do the depth of the work as well. But thank you. It was this is very exciting. I love anything pleasure, sexuality, and helping you ladies out there really connect with your bodies and really come into as much pleasurable life, like literally as I do, and that's just because I've gone through the process of really healing my body, connecting myself, and now I let my sexual energy just be present in life. Sexual energy isn't just penetration and doggy in the bedroom, you know, sexual energy is really feeling yourself turned on every day in life as well. So, and that's what I want for you guys too. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was really great, like very different. And let me know what you guys thought of this. Like, do you want more of this content? Pop it in the comments below. And are you going to go and buy your essential oils? See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.